We're doing the story of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, rowelys, Dimener, and this is part 1 of the story because there's a lot in the story. Friday. Rowley showed up at my house a few hours ago. His mom drove him off behind him. He seemed pretty upset about something. I asked him what was going on, and he told me that his mom picked him up from school. They came home and found his dad in the couch having sex with another woman. He said that there were a lot of arguing, shouting before eventually his mom and the other woman started throwing hands. His parents both agreed that they didn't want to subject him to any more of that, so they dropped him off at my place until the whole thing was worked out. Why they couldn't have at least beforehand, I have no idea. But regardless, I sort of feel bad for Rowley. He said that he thinks he might get a divorce. That's some very serious shit, especially for someone's Rowley's age, and it can take a really heavy toll on your emotional stability. I can say that I know what he's going through, but honestly, my parents threatened divorce against each other if one of them so much as coming home 5 minutes late. But every time I went over to Rowley's place to his parents, he seemed genuinely happy. I guess appearances can be deceiving. Sunday. It's been 2 days since Rowley has been here, and neither of his parents have so much as called. Either the situation is bigger than I thought, or Rowley's been disowned. I asked him if he knew who his dad's mistress was, and surprisingly enough he did. Who was exactly? Ronnie McCoy's mom. Ayo. Ronnie McCoy was the fastest kid in 5th grade. He impressed all the girls and was super popular, but once middle school hit, that was pretty much all over. That was when we all learned about something about him. He's one of those self-righteous, know-it-all conservative types. Now look, I don't take issues with conservatism or anything, but it's when you're complete cunt about it and makes me not like you. And in my experience, there's no better example of that than Ron. He's always so loud and proud about his political views, always interrupting the teachers and giving us consecutive hot takes on whatever we were learning about in case. While I do agree that the events of Kent State massacre were tragic, painting the National Guard as the villains in unfair, the way I see it, they were only exercising their Second Amendment right. What is an assault gun anyway? Bruh. A while back in 7th grade, he and Rowley actually hit off really well and have been friends ever since. I don't know why Rowley he thinks he needs any other friends beside me, but honestly I would have preferred anyone else but Ron. There have been a few times when Rowley had invited both me and Ron to his house at the same time, and it was ended up with me having a fake phone call so I could leave early. And don't even get me started on the time that Rowley came over to my place and Ron decided to tag along. Let's just say, hypothetically, for the sake of the argument, that a woman who is 3 months pregnant suddenly decides to get an abortion. Statistically speaking, a heartbeat and is a common knowledge. Anything with a pulse is a living being. So the woman is effectively killing a living human being, which under United States law is illegal and overall morally obscene. So no, it's not your body, your rules. Abortion is murder. Case closed. What the hell is wrong with you? I just asked you to pass the damn salt. Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that you did ask me to pass the damn salt. So yeah, Ron's a complete pain in the ass, and I found it pretty ironic that it had to be his mom. All the times that Ron openly shamed legitimate sex workers and his mom turned to be a big slut, she ruined Rowley's life and stand for it. That's why I told her to meet me in my room and discuss a plan that I had in mind. Nothing but tarnish his and Ron's friendship. But I told him that Ron wasn't innocent in this either, that he basically let his mom sleep with Mr. Jeffers, and that a real friend would never let people take advantage of each other. After all, bystanders are just as guilty as perpetrators. He eventually, albeit reluctantly, agreed to it. So I handed him his own kind of spray can and a mask, and we slipped out the back door to start walking over to Ron's house. After about 5 minutes of walking, I spotted Roderick Van coming down the road, and told Riley to hide. I hid behind one of the houses and Riley hid behind a lamp. Even from my position, I could tell he was painfully visible. I hoped and prayed that Riley just ignored us and kept driving, but no such luck. Get out of here, Greg. Oh, come on! Roger immediately started questioning us, asking why we were doing out so late. Why was it the mask and we were hiding for? I looked over to Riley and hoping he would know what to say something, but all I saw was quivering and whimpering. I racked my brain trying to come up with a good excuse until Rajak noticed something. Is that what I think it is? Hey yo. Yeah, I forgot to mention what exactly I got this can of spray from. Anyways, Riley and I started booking it down the street and looked back and saw Red driving off to the opposite direction. But even then, we didn't stop running until we made it to Ron's front lawn. We tried sneaking up to his house to begin spray painting, but unfortunately, Ron's parents had those motion detector lights installed, so we just had to run up and spray as fast as we could. We had just finished when we heard the front door open. We didn't know had looked to see who had opened it, and he just ran off as fast as a human being. Hey, you punks! I have a gun and the constitutional rights to use it. Once we arrived home, I really went to the shed in the backyard and get that old letter. I decided we should just sleep in my bedroom when we decided to run in the risk getting caught by mom and dad. But though the front doors of the back doors, unfortunately, though, my quick thinking landed us in the worst possible situation. Needless to say, Roger ratted us out. He told them everything. The only thing they didn't know was exactly where we were up to. Riley was so close to telling them the truth, but I interrupted him and told mom and dad we were just playing ninjas. They seemed to buy my excuse, but they still grounded me for being out at night without telling them for stealing from Rajik. No internet, no video games, nothing. They also said they were going to call Riley's parents and tell them what happened. Nobody answered though, so Dad decided to drive Riley's back home. Last night, Dad left for the Jeffrens to take Riley home. But after half an hour, I heard a knock on the door. It was Riley. He had this really nervous look on his face and his eyes were practically locked into the floor. I asked him what happened and he just sort of mumbled. I could hear Mom and Dad talking downstairs, so I walked towards the stairwell to hear them more clearly. I did not like what I heard. The house was completely abandoned and the inside was totally destroyed. Should we call the police? I already did. I'm starting to feel pretty worried at this point. Where the heck are Riley's parents? Anyways, today was kind of off. I was walking down the hallway for breakfast and this morning and I walked past my parents and noticed the door was open and I looked inside and noticed Mom was sitting at the edge of the bed. She was crying. I wanted to ask her if she was alright, but the way she was sobbing made it seem like she was absolutely heartbroken. It was almost as bad as Riley's crying last night. I guess I can't really blame her though. She and Dad were pretty close with Miss and Mrs. Jeffren, and though their sudden disappearance might be stressing her out. Another thing, Ronnie wasn't in class today, which is weird because he never misses school. This seems to please Chirag. However, he is noticeably more chipper mood than usual throughout the day. Maybe this place was becoming too liberal for him. Nobody in school really likes Ron per se, but Chirag hates him with a burning passion. Mostly on account of the fact that every time they run into each other, Ronnie always asking for proofs of citizenship. I was born here, you asshole. You sure don't have a green card or something. Tuesday. I'm really scared now. It was around 6 p.m. yesterday when I walked into the living room and noticed Mom and Dad watching the news. They were reported on a missing person case involving Mr. and Mrs. Jeffren and Mrs. McCoy. Robert Jeffren, Linda Jeffren, and Angela McCoy were seen on Friday evening. The reporter said that when the police entered the Jeffrens' home, there was bloodstains in the living room carpet. Thank God Riley wasn't down there because he would have a panic attack. Mom straight up walked out of the room and Manny and Dad soon followed her. All of a sudden, they cut off an interview with Mr. McCoy. And honestly, I'm glad that the parents were out of the room at that point. Some hoodlums teenager gotta feed my home. Wednesday. Earlier today, I came home from school to find Manny digging into the garage. Of course, as soon as he noticed me, he took off, leaving the trash can on the floor. Manny, am I cleaning up his mess or something? Something caught my eye. A brochure for the Bahamas. Get away to the Bahamas. I don't know why this ended up here, but I just might try to convince mom and dad to take us all there. Honestly, I feel like I need a vacation permanently. All this stresses me out, and anxiety about getting caught for what we did is killing me. I'm still worried that it's not a matter of time before Lorly and I. Friday. We're on a house arrest. Yay! Sorry, I should explain. While I was writing my entry, I heard mom calling me downstairs. When I got there, I saw Raleigh standing with the two police officers in the middle of the living room. And the way they said we weren't in trouble, but they just wanted to talk to us some questions about Mrs. and Mrs. Jeffrin, like they did with Raleigh. I answered all of them as truthfully as I could, until one of the cops noticed something. Hey, wait a second. They're both wearing this exact same outfit as the boys who tagged that guy's house in the security. Look at that, some tape too. I knew wearing the exact same clothes every day would bite me in the ass sooner or later. So guys, that's unfortunately the end of this video, and this is pretty much all the parts. I did more digging and tried to find part 2. Maybe when it comes out, I'll post another video of part 2. But if you guys want part 2, I want this video to have 10 likes. Alright, 10 likes, maybe 100 likes, and I'll do it. Tomorrow or maybe today, I would probably do another one. Yeah, probably do another Wimpy Kid. But if you guys enjoyed, smash that like button and subscribe and share this to your friends.